We're now joined by today's fifth place finisher in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series STP 500 here in Martinsville Speedway, and that is none other than Austin Dillon, driver of the number 3 Okuma Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Austin, you had an incredible run going out there, ran as high as third, and had that number 3 Chevrolet up in contention all day. Walk us through your run and what made you so successful today.
Well, first off, we got to thank the guys. They had a really fast race car, and we didn't panic. We didn't have the speed the first couple practices, which for some reason I never do here. It's just a trend. I can't go fast enough to start, and then we consistently get better throughout practice and the race, and it's nice to do that, but I wish I could not give the field half a race before we get up through there. So starting 20th was big for us because our last practice was good. Our car had takeoff speed the whole day. It's the first race car we've had that can actually restart and go for the first 5 laps, and that's a lot of fun. And we've got to focus on that. I think the way the new racing is with the stages and stuff, short run speed is key, and if you have a long run speed fall off, it really doesn't matter because you're going to need a caution at some point. But I'm just proud of the guys. We finished 4th here last year, and to come back and back it up with a 5th, it's one of my favorite tracks. And really, at one point, I thought we were going to have a little something for the 2 leaders, but middle of the run, our car just lacked a little bit more turn and forward drive, and then at the end, we could come back to them again. I think I was running the 22 back down kind of at the end, but just proud of my guys and thankful for this run. We needed it.
Okay, we're going to start up front with Mike and then to Nate, and then we'll go upstairs to the press box.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Austin, today was sort of a pretty good endorsement of the stage racing. Were you surprised at how those first couple of stages ended?
No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, I was on the edge of the first stage. I was running 7th, and it got wild there at the end, and tried to block the outside and ended up being 9th. And I was just thankful to get a point in that stage, but it definitely got wild at the end, and that's what we're creating, and I like that. I mean, it's fun, and as long as you're not in the guy that's getting wrecked or turned or any of that, my day was good.
Go to Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Austin, first top 10 of the year, and I know obviously Newman got the win at Phoenix. He finishes in the top 10 as well today. Does it feel good for you just to kind of like reaffirm that there's a resurgence going on for RCR?
Yeah, top 5 too. That's even better. No, it's really key, and that we do stuff like this, and short tracks have been a lot better for us the last year, and this year it was good to come back and repeat that. We still got work to do, but it's huge to see RCR running better and having cars capable of running with guys like this, and it's just fun to see his back bumper most of the time.
Okay, we're going to go upstairs to the press box for a question.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Austin, near halfway, Slugger Lab became on the radio and told you to get aggressive and be aggressive. How aggressive did you have to be to get in the top 5?
Well, it kind of came to us. I mean, the car allowed me to be good on restarts, and I think that's almost better than having to be aggressive. If your car's good at points and turns, and that makes it a lot easier. Strategy worked out where we stayed out on tires and never came and lost track position, and our car was good enough to hold on the long run. So it just worked out for us. We got spun early in the race, and it was one of those deals where the 77, I was inside, and he came down, and it was like half. I needed to go in harder and probably move him up or give him it, and it caused the big kind of crash there and jumbled up a bunch of guys. But it's hard there. I weaved left, and he just kept coming left, so I hit him, and then Denny hit me, and whoever hit Denny kind of shoved and ruined their days. Didn't want that to happen to those guys.
Okay, before we go to our next question, we are now joined by today's runner-up in the STP 500, and that is none other than Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 M&M's Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. The intensity, Kyle, was there from start to finish here at Martinsville. I know you came up on the short end of the stick, but please walk us through that battle there with the 2-car in the closing laps from your perspective.
I was just grasping for straws. He was way better than we were at that time. Just wasn't the same. Our car definitely changed there for the last run of the race, and we just didn't have what we needed in order to have the speed that we had all the rest of the day. We were able to drive away from the field. We led a lot of laps. We really had no contention there from a lot of people just past halfway the rest of the way to the end, and then you put a set of tires on and you lose 3/10. So that was pretty shameful, but we come home P2, so that's all we had. Any further questions for Austin Dillon? Let's let him get out of here and go home.
Go next to
How about
Jacob.
that?
And Jacob has one.
I've actually got one for both of you, but I'll start with Austin since Kyle suggested it. I know you talked earlier about the resurgence for RCR, but today in general, just it started kind of crazy and it ended different than we all expected. Were you surprised that this race went as long as it did to the finish after 14, 16 cautions earlier in the day to go that long green to the end?
Not really. I mean, it finally just calmed down. There was enough wrecks for people finally were like, let's get some laps in our belt, I think, and didn't get banged around. But it's just, it's Martinsville. It's streaky like that, and I bet if you look at the history, there's a lot of stuff that goes up and down, and the race kind of plays out that way. You never know how it's going to end.
And for Kyle, it seems like you and Brad can't get away from each other, whether it's Xfinity, Cup, you guys have been racing around each other, been fast the same weekends. For you as a driver, when you have somebody like that that just, pressures you, beats you sometimes, but is always right there, does it, how much does it push you to be better as a driver when you've got somebody like Brad that challenges you week in and week out?
I wouldn't have had to worry about him if I had the right tires on the car. So, it's just a fact of matter of when you have guys that are good and you got guys that have fast cars, you're going to be together. So, Chase Elliott's been up front a lot this year, and Larson and myself, Brad, some others as well. So when you have guys that are capable of running up front each and every week, then it's going to get congested sometimes at the front. And today, Brad ran a good race. I don't know if he knew he was better than me. He probably should have known for as bad as I was struggling in the middle of the corner, and he just bided his time and waited for my stuff to finally heat up too much, and he got by me. So I was giving it all I had, grasping for straws, just seeing if I couldn't hold him off, but I knew it was just time would tell.
Okay, Austin, we'll go ahead and let you go.
Thanks, guys.
I know we've got additional questions. We'll go up here to the front to Jeff and then to Bob.
JeffGluck.com for Kyle. A lot of people are going to be talking about the Stenhouse moment at the end of stage 2 where he bumped you out of the way, resulting in Chase's win. He said after the race that he had to do that because he wanted to stay on the lead lap, and that was his only option. He knew the caution was coming up. Is that fair game in that situation?
It is if you expect it back. So I actually was rolling into turn 3 and was kind of going higher out of my way in order to let the 17 back by and give him the lap. That was my intent, and then he just drove through me. So it cost me my spot to the 24. So I was hoping that I could run off the corner side by side with the 17 and keep the 24 at bay and just keep my nose in front of his and be able to score the segment, and I was trying to be a nice guy, but nice guys don't finish first.
Before we go to Bob, we are now joined by today's third-place finisher, Chase Elliott, driver of the number 24 Sun Energy 1 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Intense race out there today, Chase. You got a stage win there at stage 2, a lot of hard racing going on. Hey, could you walk us through that stage win and your overall finish?
I mean, yeah, as Kyle was talking about, kind of had that one handed to us. But, for me, at this place, I was way much improved than I've ever been here in the past, which I thought was great. And, this is such an important race, especially when you come back here in the fall. It's not a place that you can just get by with running bad and life, expect to just go on in the playoffs if you're a part of it. So I was really proud of our improvements this weekend. I hope that it wasn't just a fluke deal and we didn't just get lucky today and run good. I really hope that we've found something, or I have found something at this track that will end some more consistent, finishes that are further towards the front.
Okay, we'll go next to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. Kyle, did the end of that stage change kind of the way you would race the people that you were trying to lap at that point?
I mean, they were doing everything they could in order to stay on the lead lap, but when you got the leader to your outside and you just keep banging him off the corner, I mean, that's pretty disrespectful, but do whatever you want. It's going to come back and bite you one of these days. So you just got to always remember, race car drivers are like elephants. They remember everything.
Additional question for these gentlemen? Please raise your hand. We'll get the wireless mic to you. Go next to Nate.
Every time they see a mouse, man, they remember.
Not to harp on the end of stage 2, but that's a playoff point. Is that something that could come back to haunt you?
Yep. Yeah. Especially because we don't win races in the chase. So definitely, that was a point that we were looking to score and try to achieve, and we lost it. So it's just like the rest of this year too. We've just thrown away points if points matter, week in and week out. So we just got to somehow get our luck better. I don't know what it is that that just keeps knocking us back, that we don't have the things kind of go our way, but they just haven't been going our way. So we just got to keep plugging along until they do.
Next to Jacob.
Jacob Seelman, Performance Motorsports Network for Chase. Yesterday when you were in here, you told us that you really didn't think a lot of what happened yesterday would apply to today, and yet here you sit again with a playoff point and a really solid run. I mean, what do you take for future Martinsville races away from what you did today, and what did you guys find throughout the day that ultimately got you back to third? Because I know there was one stint there in the middle where you guys were struggling pretty good.
Yeah, we started the race, and for whatever reason, my car would not turn it off for the first 3 or 4 laps, and I about knocked whoever was on the outside of me back to Charlotte a couple times. I felt like on accident, and I thought we were going to drop like a rock. And fortunately, I don't know if it was just being on the splitter or whatever it was, but after that, our car kind of came to life and started turning pretty good. And from there, it drove pretty similar throughout the entire day. So, like I said, I hope it's a consistent trend that we can continue to run decent here. Obviously, I'd love to kind of be take that next step and try to contend for a win, but from where I've been here in the past, I mean, night and day. So I was really happy and proud of that.
Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. Good luck next week in Texas.